Hope you enjoyed your break. And as we start the last portion of our afternoon, we're going to start with a video for Special Olympics UAE in Dubai here. We have a fantastic panel that's going to come up. We're going to start with a video, and that'll be about for 5 minutes, and then we'll be back with the special panel.
عدنا إنه نلاقي وظائف لاعب بالأولمبياد الخاص اللبناني، عمري 22 سنة، من لبنان، بدرس محاسبة بجمعية مؤسسات بالقسم الخاص. هواياتي بعيدا عن دوري كلاعب قائد وكمتحدث عن الدمج، القراءة، كتابة الشعر، والمشاركة بالكشاف. كلاعب بالأولمبياد الخاص، فتح لي الأولمبياد الخاص آفاق رياضية وغير رياضية. فتح لي آفاق رياضية من خلال تنمية الرياضة عندي أكثر، غير رياضية من خلال ثقة بنفسي، تعرفي على مجموعة من الناس من عدة دول، نمي العلاقات الاجتماعية، ساعدني أدرب غير لاعبين على مفهوم الدمج والصحة والرياضة وأهميتها. أنا رئيس مجلس التيم ودخلت اللاعبين القادة، تم انتخابي بسبتمبر 2020 لهذا المنصب. تم انتخاب نائب رئيس عمر الشامي، وبالمجلس العالمي تم انتخاب يوسف رمضان من مصر. هيدا المجلس مدته 2 قابل للتجديد، وعنده أدوار كتيرة، بناقش أمور بتهم اللاعبين، بيتفق بناقشها وبوصلها لإدارة الأولمبياد الخاص لا يتم. نحن عنا خطة استراتيجية ل 2021 ل 2024. الخطة بتركز أهم شيء، وأنا هيدا أكثر شيء بيهمني، هو الدمج. كيف خلي أكبر عدد من الناس يعرفوا عن الدمج ويعرفوا عن لاعبيننا ويعرفوا عن قدراتنا، وكيف نتصرف من خلال الرياضة، ونظهر مواهب وقدرات أفرادنا، مواهبنا نحن، عشان يعرف العالم إنه نحن عنا قدرات مثلهم. نحن كلنا متساويين في الحقوق والواجبات في هذا المجتمع. بهمنا نوسع شبكات التواصل من خلال التكنولوجيا الرقمية، مثل وقت صار كوفيد سألنا دغري على زوم وصرنا نتواصل مع بعض أكثر، صرنا نتواصل مع ناس آخرين لا يعطونا من خبراتهم. كمان هيدا أحد أهدافنا بهذه الاستراتيجية الأهداف بالأولمبياد الخاص، هي يكون لاعبين مع وبدون إعاقة فكرية، هن اللي عم يعملوا الدمج، يتعاونوا مع بعض ببرامج رياضية وغير رياضية، صحية حتى ثقافية أحيانا، ونوصل لعالم يقوده الأفراد مع وبدون إعاقة فكرية. لأنه نحن كمان من أهدافنا، وهي وهذا الدمج بيساعدنا إنه نلاقي وظائف لإلنا وللاعبين كلهم، وندخل ننخرط بالمجتمع، نثبت للمجتمع أو اللي عم ينظروا لنا نظرة شفقة أو نظرة ازدراء إنه لا نحن بنقدر، نحن قدها، وما بنثبت هالشيء إلا من خلال انخراطنا بالمجتمع وإحداث التغيير. هذا بشكركم إنه انتخبتوني رئيس مجلس تقييم ومداخلات اللاعبين القادة. هذا بشرفني، وبشكر أستاذة حفصة والكل إنه نقوني لأعمل هالبرزنتيشن، وبدي أوعد إنه ضلني قد ما فيي عم بشتغل لهالمجلس، وأعطي من قلبي سبيشال أولمبيكس لبنان وغير لبنان، وضلني أشتغل على دمج لمؤسسة الإنسان 22 وإذا ما 2022 لأكبر عدد من الناس تقبلونا، عرفونا مين نحن، ووصلنا ل Special Olympics Lebanon. Thank you Special Olympics MENA. Thank you St. Cloud State University USA for
Thank you, John, for the introduction. That was very warm, and I think you have been the energy in the room since morning. So thank you for that. It seems like as President Wack in the morning said, I can listen to you for at least a week before getting tired. So thank you for building the energy in the group. Special gratitude to everyone that is here, our sponsors that have made it possible, and of course, St. Cloud State University, Professor Amy, Professor Catherine. And I was just thinking, if we have such similar groups, maybe a couple of them in the world, they could do wonderful, amazing things. How we have come out with the Center of International Disability Advocacy at St. Cloud State is just one of the initiatives which I feel like would generate future leaders who are advocates in this field. I also was just thinking about how Expo brings in people from all across the globe, and how, you know, we just had the 50th year of union yesterday, and how if we look at it, UAE is based on the same mission, how Sheikh Zayed, Sheikh Rashid, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, all of them have worked together on the same vision of bringing people from all across the globe and coming together for this inclusive environment that we have here in Dubai and in the UAE in general. So I know all of you are excited for the panelists, and my introduction, if you look at them and their abilities, I'm just like an ant in front of an elephant. These are the main folks. So I would let them introduce themselves because I feel like I wouldn't do justice. So if Fatma can lead the introduction, and then we'll move forward.
Hello, everyone. Happy International Persons with Disabilities Day, first of all. I'm glad to be here again with all of you. My name is Fatma Jassim, and I'm a disability rights advocate from the UAE. I've worked in the policymaking sector. I currently work as a voluntary consultant, helping governments and companies across the region and beyond to advance their inclusion agenda. Moving forward, without taking much time, I'd like to give the mic to the wonderful ladies with me, Ghalyah and Alayazia.
Hi everyone, my name is Ghalyah Hendi. I'm an 11th grader in Adnok Schools, Abu Dhabi. I've worked with the Special Olympics and the Unified Robotics, and I've learned a lot of things that I'm very excited to share in this panel.
Hi everybody, I'm Alayazia Hadhramni. I'm an 11th grade student just like Ghalyah. I've been doing things with Special Olympics for now 2 years. I would never have thought of even joining it without my friend Ghalyah and her teacher.
That's very cute, and how we see that with an inclusive environment, we're able to support each other, and how these two young, beautiful women made it to the robotics team, which is just amazing. Before we move on, I know we've been talking about inclusion, talking about diversity. What does inclusion mean for all of you, like individually?
If I may start, inclusion means to me, or inclusion is a continuum of acceptance, a continuum of knowing that, or admitting that we don't know everything about life, and everyone's individual journey is important as we are, and just the ability to listen and validate each other. This is inclusion for me personally.
Inclusion means to me that we live in an environment where all feel safe in one environment. I mean, for example, in school, there's all this discrimination, like people with intellectual disabilities stay into a separate place, and then people without in a different place. To me, an inclusive community would be a community where we all could be together and we all feel safe and happy together. That's what mainly inclusion means to me.
Well, inclusion means to me is when we all sit in a room and we can just talk it all out. We don't have borders of people with different disabilities, people who are different schools. We all just are together and enjoy our time together. That's what the inclusion means to me. I've had lots of friends who have disabilities, and I can always open up to one of them because they've always been struggling. So when I think that the inclusion would be the best if we all have more than ourselves. So when you meet someone, you don't just talk to them and leave. You have to be super supportive, you know? So that's what inclusion means to me.
Perfect. Different definitions, but all make sense, and all, we can't say they fit the box. They're all over the place, but they all make total sense. So as we all heard, you both were part of the robotics team. I know I can never think of being in the robotics team, but can you tell us the experience, how you both met, and how, because you are a unified you're part of the unified team. So we all would love to hear about the experience of how you met and how was the journey to the team.
Yeah, so to start off of how we met, that's actually how we met in the Unified Robotics competition by Special Olympics. So it all started off with our teacher. She got us together. We used to barely see each other in school, we would walk past by each other. But then we were put in this team. And at first, and of course, Alayazia could add to this, we were kind of dreading it, oh, another competition, it's going to be so hard. But then we worked together, and me and Alyazia's personalities really merged. So it was really fun and enjoyable. And at the same time, we learned many things. And I would also love for Alayazia to add on to that.
So If I hadn't joined the competition, I probably would never have met Ghalyah, and that would have been probably the biggest mistake of my life. When meeting Ghalyah and like joining the competition, I was dreading it, honestly. I thought I would have to learn coding and just it would be really hard. But I met some lovely people. I learned coding. I learned how to like be more inclusive. I would have probably never done any of this without like meeting these lovely people who have taught me so much about like coding, inclusiveness, and even making more friends because of it. And I would encourage anyone to like do this. Step out of your boundaries and like your little bubble and just do it.
Amazing, amazing. So Fatma, coming back to the bitter reality, and also there is hope. So I would want to ask you more about, like, as someone who is from UAE, and also understanding the culture, understanding everything here, what do you think are the hindrances or what are the challenges that people with disability certainly have here in UAE? And of course, with that being said, what is the hope and the way forward and how can we achieve that? That's a loaded question. I'm sorry for that.
It's okay. But before I answer the question, I just want to say that I'm very glad to have met Ghalyah and Alayazia today, and it looks like I will be joining your robotics team. It sounds very fun. So Special Olympics, expect communication with me. I'll be with Alayazia and Ghalyah soon. In terms of challenges, first of all, the UAE has just started a new path. After yesterday, we celebrated the Jubilee of the UAE, and as Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed always says, that the UAE is a place of hope for the region and beyond. I'm very proud to say that despite all of the challenges and despite all of despite being a young country, we are still spearheading the inclusion agenda globally. And Expo, hosting the Expo is a great example of it, being together with the Disability Coalition and being together today. The challenges don't really differ than any challenges across the globe. We have a challenge in terms of collecting data that's everywhere in the disability sphere. We have challenges in terms of employment, in terms of transcending those policies that have been in place to the real life and to have them lived on day by day and become a routine. So to be honest, the challenges don't differ. It's just the same set of challenges across the spectrum. The only difference is that in the UAE, for example, COVID has really pushed us towards noticing how it's important to have digital accessibility at the forefront, and we're working on this. The UAE has recently launched or announced the policy for digital accessibility, and we're trying to push that agenda going forward.
Perfect, thank you. And I feel like UAE could be considered like the perfect place. And as Fatma mentioned as well, the aspect of hope and the aspect of seeing things develop every single day just kind of enhances you and pushes you to see that there are parts of the world which are working to be more accessible, working to be more inclusive. So with that being said, I'll come to the two robotics talented girls. I've heard that you both are a part of a program that I don't know much about, but I would just frame it in a way. What do you think the academic side, the academia has a role in nurturing an environment which is inclusive, and also, with the future job market, how can the academic part help people with disability be at the forefront of the jobs as well? And also do share about the program that you're part of as well.
Yeah, so this is actually what our project was about. Working with Special Olympics, we've realized that many people with intellectual disabilities have struggled adapting to university, to the workspace. And as a high school student, we're going through that journey of hopefully applying to college or university next year. So me and Alayazia have been working very hard on a project that is very close to our hearts. It's called Peepability. And basically, this is the pilot group, and it will hopefully be launched on January. And this project is aimed for, first of all, in our school, to get the students together and help them by workshops from university. And these universities could explain how inclusive it is. And then workspaces and companies coming in, offering these students internships so they could hopefully adapt to work environments and see what's out there for them. I know me and Alayazia have worked a lot on this, so I'm sure Alayazia has also great added value to this project that you'd like to share.
Yes. So what I'd like to add is that since our project is pretty new still, we would really love like any companies here to reach out for us so we can like expand our palettes and like increase more people to like want to sponsor us and like make this more of from a dream to an actual thing to happen. I, for one, think that this is going to be amazing, and I'm so excited for each and every one of you to hear about this more when it becomes a public thing. We have a very great presentation that we will eventually show the public, but it's secret for now.
Amazing. It seems like a great initiative that is taking place to make it easier for high school students to move into college, and also further looking for the job opportunities, how they can be a part of it as well. Kind of referring back to the same question with Fatma as well. Fatma, how do you, because we have St. Cloud State here, and we also launched the new Center of International Advocacy for Disability Services. So what do you think the role of academic has and the academic institutions have in nurturing our society to be more inclusive?
Yes, and Ghalyah, count me in. I'd love to support you in any way. So education is the building block for everything. It changes our perspectives, it changes how we view life. And I believe that it is the building block for the future. So academia is a vital role. Like, for example, when like talking about my undergrad project, I based it on my personal 4-year journey of university, and I wanted to change that and make it better, leave a legacy per se. So I worked with with universities in the country to bring them and for the first time discuss the issues of inclusive education in the UAE in the higher education setting with all the stakeholders. So what the St. Cloud University is doing, and the partners here is serves as a building block, because if you instill the seed of inclusion in any person, then they will grow. It will grow with time, and this person would carry it through generations and generations coming forward. This is how we should view inclusion, our efforts. And I was told to repeat something that I said earlier when I last was here. I said the importance of having, instead of one seat at the table, we need 2 seats at the table. We always say we want a seat at the table, but in reality, we need one for experts in the field in the disability sphere, and one other seat for generations to come, like Ghalyah and Alayazia. They're already leaders in their respective schools and fields. So having that ability to nurture their skills and just continue the journey is what we all aim for, because it's a continuum again.
Perfect. That's amazing. And when we link it back to the presentation we just got from the head of the accessibility at Microsoft and the statistics that we received on how beneficial it is to have someone who is disabled and how that increases the productivity. And earlier we heard about the travel part as well, on how much they can spend. It's just that we're not tapping on the market and their needs. So that's amazing. And I think all 3 of you are not just making UAE proud, but I feel like you're a hope for the future of the world, and people that have any sort of disability and give them a message or stronger. And on that message note, what would be your final message for people that around the globe? Because I know we have so many people watching and so many people that it's nighttime in half of the world, so they'll watch the recording in the morning. I would rather put it in this way. People that have disability, what would be your message for them? And people who do not have disability, what would be your message to create that inclusive environment?
Well, first of all, I would start off by telling them, if you were born like with a disability, then know you're special from normal people. Like you can tell it from everyone in the room. Like, if you have a disability, then you are special. And I want you to create your own little community for everyone. Make them want to join, not you have to join theirs. Make it your dream into your own reality.
Amazing.
I would like to add, for people without disability, it's really our obligation to make every single person in this world feel welcomed and safe. So just creating that inclusive community, making sure you're interacting with each person and not having that discrimination is very important.
I think they captured well what I was about to say, but in addition to what they said, so eloquently, by the way, you're doing a fantastic job, is that the future is inclusive, whether we want it or not, whether we believe it or not. It's inclusive, it's coming. It's just that we need to join the conversation.
Thank you. Thank you so much, all 3 of you. I know we have the 2027 bid for Expo that Minnesota is very excited for. And our theme would be health and wellness. And we feel like that would, if we get the bid, which we will, Catherine is very hopeful, we'll win the bid. So if we get the bid, I think that would be the first step, or would be a historic event and something for the future generation, the work of disability and accessibility. But I still believe that the summit that we have had has just been incredible. Thank you once again to all the partners that have made it possible. Thank you to our partners for all the ASL interpretation that was provided and made it possible for people to be a part of this event. So thank you very much. I know there's one more I believe, panel left after this. And I'll give it back to the main man, John, and he can lead it with grace and dignity as he always does. Thank you very much.
And did you all know that Fatma is a skydiver? He likes jumping out of airplanes. Did you skydive Dubai? Craziness. So I hope you took away a lot from the panel discussion and see, you know, for me, it's the engineering, it's the moving forward of our youth, not as leaders of the future, but leaders today, leaders in their communities, leaders because the people that are in their organizations and their schools are following them. So they're leaders right now, not leaders of the future. We can prepare them with our knowledge to help them move into a more excellent future for them as well. So we have one more panel that's going to be coming up right here. And if I get my notes real quick.